Hello everybody, it's BrawlFan1 or BJ, whichever you prefer, and today will be an installment of me doing Kirby Hat speed draws since I can't stream at the moment, as well as me answering questions from you guys. I have gotten a lot of questions from you guys since I asked for them a couple of days ago. I couldn't get to all of them unfortunately, but I did take a lot, so I apologize if I couldn't answer your question in this video, but this more than likely will not be the only time I do this, so once I let you guys know that I'm doing this again, feel free to try ask them again, and I'll do my best to get to them if I can get to them. Now, before we do get started, I do have two very commonly asked questions that I want to go ahead and knock out of the way before I get to you guys more specific questions that you guys gave me. The first and major question is, when are you going to do / will you make a video for insert literally any character here? And I have the same answer for pretty much all of those. When the character gets enough requests, and when and if I can even make a proper moveset for them. And then the second question I get a lot of is, have you played or seen literally insert any game here? At this point, I'd rather just not say, if only to avoid potentially spoiling up-and-coming characters. Either that or, like, giving you guys processes of elimination. I don't want to go through what Sakurai goes through, unfortunately, where it's gotten to the point now where if I talk about literally anything, any game, everyone immediately assumes that I'm making a moveset for it, and it's getting a little tiresome. So sorry, guys, no more of that. But in which case, yeah, let's go ahead and get right into your questions. The first question that I'm going to answer is one that actually is probably my most asked question, but the first person to ask it was Kitty Boy. And the question is, what is your favorite / least favorite moveset that you've made? Now, this kind of is a cop-out answer, but honestly, I don't have one on either front. It's kind of a personal rule of mine that I don't upload videos that I'm not completely happy with. So, like, so if there's a moveset that I don't like, you guys wouldn't see it. Like, I just wouldn't put it up. Now, of course, I do have character preferences. Like, there are characters that I favor more than others. But in terms of the actual movesets that I made, I don't really have any. So my apologies on that. Second question. And the first person to ask this was Dreamcastian Turnip. How long does it typically take for you to complete a moveset concept or a character? So this one really does depend on the character. It depends on how many games I may have to play, how long it takes me to get a grasp on them. But sometimes it can take a few months. Sometimes it can take less than an hour. It really just depends. Like if I have to do a lot more innovating, that can take up the time. Doing additional research takes up more time. Like the biggest factor though probably is dependent whether or not if I was already familiar with the character to begin with. Like if there's a character that I'm doing a moveset for that I've known for all my life, like I've played all their games already, or if they had very few games, then those characters generally are much easier for me. But the characters that I have no idea who they are going into them, those do take a little bit more time because I have to learn more about them. Okay, third question, and the first person to ask this was Ditscord. Pardon me if I mispronounced that. What was the most difficult moveset for me to make? Off the top of my head, Toad. Honestly, Toad. Like, and that must seem a little odd for you guys, considering that Toad probably was one of the simpler moveset concepts that I made. It wasn't really the fact, because the interesting thing is, like, even the gimmick, the gimmick heavy characters that I do, like, some of those kind of do just fall into place for me. Toad's issue was that it wasn't that there wasn't enough. Well, obviously there was enough to work with because the moveset I did eventually make the moveset. It's just that it took me a while to finally do something that I actually liked. Going back to what I said, I won't post a video if I don't like it, and it took me a while to really get a result for Toad that I actually ended up, falling in love with. So that in that regard, I feel like Toad was one of the most difficult for me. But then on the other side of that spectrum, for question 4, first asked by Mr. Maniac, how you doing, dude? What was the easiest moveset for me to make? Geno. Geno took me a half hour to do. And the biggest reason for that, like I said before, actually, I played Super Mario RPG for a long time. I love Geno. Like in terms of characters that I've made movesets for, Geno is up there in terms of actually favorite characters. So I was already very familiar with Geno, and he was kind of one that I had in the back of my mind for a moveset for a long time. So when I actually started making the moveset, because I was already so familiar with it, I've played Mario RPG so many times, it kind of just fell into place for me very quickly. Okay, question 5. First person to ask this was Caden123%. What order do you create the moveset? Like, do you start with the gimmick or with the basic attacks? So this is they're pretty much asking me like what's my process, I suppose. Like how do I, because a few people ask me this, like how do you build the movesets, or yeah, like how do you start, like how do you get, like, things like that. There really isn't a definitive order, but the first thing that I do always try to do is to get a handle on the character's concept. I play their games, I research their lore, their world. I really try my best to get immersed into the character's setting. And then once I have a grasp on that, I research their powers, their fighting abilities, just their general gameplay. Effectively what I'm doing is I'm collecting puzzle pieces. And then once the pieces are all on the table, that's when I start putting them together. So like, there really is no definitive order on whether or not I start with attacks first or gimmicks first or things like that. It's just kind of what falls into place for me. Alright, next question. First person to ask this was BarrelStew42. Will you ever make official videos going over changes to movesets for characters that you have previously gone over? I wouldn't mind doing so. That is something that I don't mind doing at all. I probably won't do it for a little while, if only because I just kind of have a personal thing where it's like, I'd much rather focus on new characters rather than old ones. Because I have received a lot of criticism for all, like, at this point, 74 characters that I've done up to late, and a lot of you guys have given me ideas that I really like. Whether or not I use them is, of course, up to me, but regardless, yes, the answer is pretty much is yes, but it won't be for a while. Like I said, I would much rather, take the criticism that you guys have been giving me and use it to apply to new characters rather than old ones. So it may not be for a while if I ever do decide to do that. Question 7, first asked by Mushroom Fusion 245. What is the weirdest request you ever gotten that you absolutely will not do? Thomas the Tank Engine. Why? Come on, guys, just no. And I guess while on that subject, there's a couple people also kind of just ask, what characters will you not do? Generally, it's kind of just based on what I have personal distastes for. Like, I refuse to do characters from shows like Family Guy, South Park. I do not like the game Catherine, so I refuse to do characters from that game. I, of course, also refuse to do characters from really obviously adult games, like pornographic games and stuff like that. I refuse to do those characters. Overall, the final decision is mine. Even if there are more that I can't think of right now, if I ever get requested for characters that I just don't feel comfortable doing or just do not want to do, I just won't do it. As simple as that. Okay, so here's another really big question that a lot of people asked. The first person to ask it was the Red Hood 0715. Will you ever do a change their moveset series? Basically, you take characters whose movesets are outdated or inaccurate, so he's talking about like existing characters in Smash, and then change them to better fit the character. So he's asking about characters, not that I've made movesets for, but characters that are actually in Smash. And I have had a lot of people ask me if I was going to do this. Yes, I would not mind doing this at all. I do want to see a bit more demand, if possible. Like I want to see if more people actually would be interested in this. But I certainly would not mind doing this, because there are a ton of characters in Smash that, like, I wouldn't say complete moveset overhauls. Like, maybe a couple, but not really a whole lot of them. I'd say maybe only a few minor moveset tweaks, but that's about it. Because for the most part, I do look at the majority of the characters in Smash, and I do think they are beautifully designed. I love how a lot of them are. So if I were to make any an existing Smash character moveset change video, it'd be more like a moveset nitpick video. That's really what it would be. Alright, question 9. And this is another pretty commonly asked question, but the first person to ask it was none other than Stickmaster500. If Sakurai spoke to you and said he wanted to make a third Fighters Pass and wants me to decide what the 5 characters are, who would I pick? Assuming none of them appear in the second Fighters Pass. So I kind of bundled this together with another commonly asked question, because Stickmaster specifically asked for 5 characters. Most people, when they ask this kind of question, they ask for just like one character. Like if there's a character from my moveset series that I would want in Smash, or if there's a character in general that I would want in Smash. But to answer Stickmaster's question specifically, I probably would just stick to characters that I made movesets for. And if I were to pick 5, they wouldn't even be characters that I have personal preference over. They'd be characters that I personally think would add the most to Smash. And I would say Frisk, Dr. Eggman, Cuphead, Phoenix Wright, and Agumon. Those would probably be my choices. Like honestly, I probably would put Frisk as priority, but like I think for the most part those would be the ones that I'd pick. Question 10. With the first person asking being the Living Graveyard. What inspired me to make movesets? Making movesets is something that I've loved doing for a very, very long time. Since I was in grade school, like elementary school, I've always loved the idea of imagining what other characters would be like in Smash. Because I've played Smash in 64. I played it back when I was in elementary school, back when my mom first, rented it for me, because I saw it at back when Blockbuster was still a thing. I go to Blockbuster and my mom would rent me a game every now and then, and I saw, this game that had Pikachu, Kirby, and Mario on the front, and I was like, I want that. And then after renting it so many times, my mom just decided to buy it for me, because I loved it so much. But I've always loved it. I've loved making movesets for the longest time. What inspired me to start making videos for it, that's kind of a long story that I'm not going to get into right now. Just know that I'm very glad that I did start it. Question 11, asked by, first person to ask this was Garth Williams. How often do you get help with your movesets? All the time from my closest friends. Generally, because I try to make it apparent that I don't like being given ideas from viewers, because I do want to be able to make movesets on my own, and I also don't want to give people the idea that I'm stealing moveset ideas, and I also don't like feeling like I'm stealing moveset ideas. That's why, because that's just kind of I guess that's kind of just a me thing. Like, I don't like feeling that guilt, so I'd much rather just not look at any other people's ideas, and then so that way I can say with a good conscience that I made this on my own, and that I didn't take it from anybody. So even if people accuse me from stealing, I can say that no, I didn't. You can think that all you want, but I know I didn't. But I do like getting the aid from my closest friends, like my closest friends in the world, like my best friends. Because as I build them, I generally will go over ideas with them, see what they think, get their thoughts and inputs on it, see how if it sounds balanced enough. If they ever give me ideas of their own that they think would work better than mine, and if I like it more, I'll happily use that and then credit them in the video. So yeah, I get help all the time. Pretty much the short answer is yes. Question 12, first asked by Gray Shores. Have there ever been characters who have had a lot of requests, but you couldn't think of a good moveset for? And if so, who are they? So this question was asked before I posted the assist trophy video. Pretty much those are that's your answer right there. It's yes. If there's characters that I feel like it's not even so much. Yeah, it's not a potential thing, because I tried to establish this in the assist trophy video. I'm sure these characters can have movesets, but my deal is, do I think the movesets are going to be good? So kind of what I'm probably going to do from here on out is that if there is a highly requested character that I don't think could have a good moveset, like a moveset that I personally like, if I cannot make a moveset that I personally do not like, I probably will just make the Nemesis trophy instead. Question 13 from one Kona Dog. Well, a couple people asked this, but Kona Dog was the first. Do requests get overwhelming at all? Is what I'd ask. I'd hate to overwhelm the content creator. What is a reasonable amount of requests, if so? If I'm honest, I really don't get overwhelmed. Excuse me. I have methods of being able to keep track of everyone's requests and everyone's comments. I write down every single name. And the YouTube Studio has been really helpful with it too, because YouTube Studio has a comments page that shows literally every single comment that was posted on every single one of your videos in the order of which they were posted. So that makes it really easy to look at every single comment without needing to go to every single video. And also being able to like comments with the little heart icon is also really helpful, because it not only lets me let you guys know that I saw your comment and got your request written down, it also lets me keep track of where I left off. So really the only time it could get overwhelming is not so much because there's too many, but because of my own responsibility. I have to make sure that I keep on top of it. If I let it fall behind, then it could it can cause the page to get laggy. It can take hours. And that would be my bad. So long as I stay on top of it, it's not a big problem. All right, question 14. Are you going to collab with other YouTubers / people to make movesets for like you did with Knights? So yes, like Knights or Amaterasu, Klonoa, things like that. So yeah, those were my friends. Knights was done by my friend Danny, and then Klonoa, Rayman, Spyro, Amaterasu. There was another one I forget, but those were done by Brian. Those are my closest friends. Of course, definitely, there are plans for my friends to do other movesets. We're just waiting for those characters to get enough requests right now. But as for doing it with other YouTubers specifically that I'm not really acquainted with, it really does just depend. I feel like I would probably need to be pretty picky about who I'd be willing to collab with. If it's someone that I personally watch, I might be more willing. But if it's someone that I've never heard of, I don't know. I guess it just depends. Oh, also, did I say who it was that asked this? It was a Not So Dog Ninja. Sorry if I forgot that. Alright, question 15 from one Dinos1999. Do requests for the same character on different videos count as multiple requests? No, they do not. Like I said, I write down the name of every single person that requests for a character. I do this to try to attempt my best to keep overinflated votes from happening. Now, this obviously won't help. This obviously can't stop me from if someone changes their username or uses multiple accounts. I obviously have no way of knowing that, so I can't help that. But if one person with the same username requests for the same character over and over and over again, it doesn't matter if they request for that character 1,000 times, that only counts as one request. I only keep track of individual requests per character by how many separate people ask for them. Now, with that said, you can ask for as many characters as you want. So one person can ask for as many characters as you want, and all of those characters will gain one request. But you asking for the same character over and over again still only counts as one request. Okay, next question from Ivan2. Is there any way to give you an idea for a moveset? For characters that I've yet to make movesets for, no. Because, as I explained earlier, I don't like the feeling of, stealing ideas from other people, or, even if... I've even had occasions where people said, no, it's okay, just use my idea, I'm fine with it. It's I'm still not comfortable with that. I honestly am not. I would much rather, do them on my own with only my friend's aid. But On the other hand, though, if you want to share with me ideas or movesets for characters that I have covered, that I have made movesets for, go nuts. I would love nothing less, because a big reason why I started this series is because I wanted to share ideas, and I wanted to hear other people's ideas. So if you want to share your own ideas for a character that I have covered, you know, leaving it in a YouTube comment, you know, you can contact me, you can send me an ad on Twitter, or if you were a sponsor and you had access to my private Discord server, you can show me those as well. So yeah, that's kind of the answer there. Question 17. How am I doing today? I'm doing just fine. Thank you so much for asking. And this was asked by Andrew Baylor, Malik Perry, and Slime Fan. How are you guys doing? Thank you for asking. I'm having a fine day today. Question 18. What is your favorite video game? First asked by Gigabyte Gamer. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. That is it. That is the game that I would bring with me to a deserted island if I could only bring one, and I'd play it forever and would never get tired of it. I play that game like once a year. I love it to death. Okay, question 19, first asked by Weston Pickering. Are you going to do a live stream of the Danganronpa final smashes for every character? I wouldn't mind doing so. We're just gonna have to wait for me to gain the ability to live stream again. Because currently, I guess for those who don't know, I'm currently in temporary living in an apartment while my family's new house is being built. I was hoping, I was initially under the impression that it could get done by like December, but that's probably not going to happen at this point. It's probably going to be around January, February when the house is done. So unfortunately, it probably won't be till then until I can do any live streaming. But once I do gain the ability to live stream again, you can bet that I will be doing lots of live streaming, and yeah, doing the Danganronpa finals, like the Monokuma executions. I would love to do that. All right, question 20, first asked by Skelly and Jelly. Are you ever going to do more of your personal picks? Just asking because I really liked all of those that you chose. I would not mind doing more of those, but for the time being, I don't really have other characters right now that I have a huge personal desire to make videos for, because, yeah, Violet, Impmon, Zidane, and Vinoct, those were characters that I really wanted to make movesets for, because I kept thinking of ideas for them, and I really loved the idea of them having movesets. But currently, there's no other character right now that I have an overwhelming desire to make movesets for. But if more do pop up in the future that I want to do, and if people want me to make more movesets for them, or if people want me to do more personal picks, like if that becomes another highly demanded thing, then sure, I would not mind at all. Question 21, first asked by Galaxy Boy. Have you ever thought about asking someone to make mods with your characters and the character movesets? So I'm kind of putting this under the same kind of question that a lot of people were asking regarding, would I ever make like a Smash Flash style game out of these movesets? I've had that kind of in the back of my mind, but it's not going to happen for a very, very long time. Because, like, I don't really have the resources nor the knowledge to make games like that. And plus, I personally would rather just stick to making concepts myself, though obviously being able to make a game where I can actually test out these concepts would be very helpful. But even then, if I ever did come to the decision of doing this, I would have to, you know, get the assistance of, like, you know, programmers and more animators, things like that, and I would want to be able to pay them. Like, I'm not gonna make someone do anything for free. I would want to hire people to be able to do it properly. Okay, question 22. First asked by Fang07. Have you thought about making bosses or assist trophy styled what if videos? Okay, well, he asked, okay, again, to be fair to him, he asked this question before I posted the assist trophy video, so that, you know, he had no way of knowing. That's fine. But of course, obviously, yes, as you saw me posting the assist trophy video, yes. As for bosses, I would not mind making Smash style bosses, I guess for characters that I probably would feel are better as bosses. But I do want to see a bit more demand for it. Because, like, a big thing with the assist trophies was that I did see a lot of a demand for assist trophies. So I would like to see a bit more demand for it. Question 23, first asked by The Gun Show. For the What If series, will you do more games like What If blank was in Marvel vs. Capcom, or What If blank was in PlayStation All-Stars, or would you rather stick to Smash Brothers? I would not mind doing other What If style videos based on other series, but I probably would want to stick to series that I have a personal interest in. Like, I don't really care about Marvel, I don't really care about PlayStation All-Stars. I did play them, but I don't really have, like, the same kind of attachment to them as I do Smash. But if I do, I do not mind making other What If style series, yeah, based on other franchises. But yeah, they're gonna have to be ones that I have a personal attachment to. Question 24, first asked by The Sport. What are some of your most requested characters and why? I assume you're asking about, like, what characters that I want in, like, the real Smash Brothers? Like what characters do I personally want to actually get into Smash? If I'm honest at this point, I don't really have any. There's no one else that I really, really want to see in Smash. For the most part, every single character that I did really want to see in Smash, I've gotten in. So I'm content at this point. It's like, I don't, of course don't mind seeing more. Obviously, there are going to be more. But as for personal preferences, I don't really have any. Question 25, first asked by Koi Wickens. Who is your favorite character in Smash Bros. Ultimate and why? My favorite character is King DDD. He's a character that, he was one of the characters that I really wanted to see get added to Smash because I love King DDD. I've loved King DDD for a long time. And he's also my main. Like, he's straight up my main. Like, he is the character that I play best with. He's been my main since Brawl, and he's pretty much remained my main. So, yeah. Question 26, first asked by Mario Kirby. Out of all the characters you've done so far, which ones do you think have the highest chance of actually getting in, besides Banjo and Steve, obviously? I don't really know. There is a process of elimination. Like, obviously, if you remove, like, the non-video game characters, or, like, side characters, or certain joke characters, even then, there's still a ton of characters that I've made movesets for so far that still could very well end up happening. So, at this point, it's like there's no way, there's really no good way to, like, narrow it down, as opposed to just making educated guesses. Question 27, first asked by Mr. Unfunny. Why don't you have 100k subscribers yet? I don't know, but, if I'm honest, it is kind of a personal goal. Like, it was actually my New Year's resolution to try to reach 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it in time at this rate. But regardless, like, even just getting to where I am now, I'm already so appreciative of every single one of you that have shown me nothing but support. Like I cannot thank you guys any more. I don't know how I can thank you guys any more than I already have. Like, I want to see the channel grow. I want it to grow so that way like, I'll be able to do so much more of you guys for a very, very long time. I want to keep at this. I want to keep doing what I'm doing. I want to expand on it. I want to do new things. I want this channel to grow because I love what I do, and I want to do it for a long time. I love interacting with you guys. I love entertaining you guys. Like, it's what I love. It's what I want to do with my life. It really is. So yeah, like, hopefully I'll reach 100k subscribers pretty soon, and even go beyond that, because then it'll help, because that only will show that my channel is growing, and will hopefully only get bigger from there. Question 28, first asked by SpringDude11. Can you make a tier list for your What If They Were in Smash series? I'm curious to know your opinions on each episode. Like, what kind of tier list are you referring to? Like, are you asking about, like, a tier list? Because doing a traditional tier list for these characters, there's no way to gauge that, because obviously movesets can be patched, and there's no way for us to really test these. And not to mention, like, ideally, I would like to imagine that every single moveset that I make is balanced to a degree. Now, of course, in practice, that may not come true, and they would require different kinds of patches to make each one work. But in terms of actually a tier list, I can't tell you. In terms of flavored movesets, yeah, because like in terms of flavored movesets, like I said before, I like them equally. But if you base it on the characters themselves, like which characters I personally like, here you go. Question 29, first asked by Danger Dolphin 101. If Sakurai used your moveset for a character in Smash without me being credited, how would I feel? I don't know, honestly. Like, I don't think it'd bother me too much. Of course, I say that now, and it might be a different story if it actually happened, which I doubt it even would. I feel like it'd get a bit of backlash, but at the same time, this series wouldn't exist if it weren't for Sakurai. Plus, that means that the character in question would fight exactly as I want them to, which I can't really complain about, honestly. Question 30, asked only by Mr. Jackoween. What advice do you have for beginner YouTubers? Be patient, be consistent, but most importantly, love what it is you're doing. You do not want to rush things. Like, you want to make sure that you give high quality content, but you also don't want to be too slow, because you want to make sure you keep your audience's retention. Plus, YouTube will keep more of an interest in you if YouTube will continue wanting to recommend your videos if you upload often. Like, for me, trying to get something out at least once a week is a good flow. But then, of course, just have fun. Like, don't do it because you'll think you'll get a quick buck or out of obligation. Like, trust me. Your audience can tell how people, your audience can tell how the people they're watching are feeling. If you sound bored or disinterested, then why should your audience care? So, yeah, again, be patient with what you're doing, because it takes a while, but still try to remain consistent. Like, don't lose focus. Do what you can and do it often. And then, yeah, of course, love what it is you're doing. Question 31, asked by Maximux Robinson. Sorry for mispronouncing that. If you are stuck between some ideas for a certain moveset and don't know what to pick, would it be okay for you to mention both in the final video? Yeah, I've actually done this a few times, multiple times actually, in a couple of videos. Like, I know I did in the Shantae video regarding her down air. Jeez, I feel like I know I've done it in other videos, but I can't recall immediately, 'cause it doesn't happen too often. But yeah, like, if there's generally times where there's two attacks or moves that I like really both, but they would both only work under a certain like an attack command, I'll just bring them both up. Because again, these are concept videos. These aren't prediction videos, or like these aren't like these are what these characters would for sure be like in Smash. No, these are personal concept videos. These are just how I personally would make the characters. That's all it is. So yeah, like if there's short answer, yes. Anyway, question 32, asked by... Oh, I'm sorry. I know I'm going to mispronounce this. Raphael Mrazwaski? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for mispronouncing it. But his question is there a moveset concept that you scrapped? As of right now, no. Every single character that I've made a moveset for has either gotten a video or will for sure get a video in the future if they get enough requests. And I even actually bring this up in the Assist Trophy video for like Among Us. There have been times where I thought of ideas but just didn't follow through with them because I just didn't like how they were panning out. So like, there's never been a time where I thought of a full idea and then decided to get rid of it for something else. It's either it happened or it didn't. So, question 33, asked by Terminator Jackknife. Have you ever wondered how differently your Goku and Spongebob videos would be or would have turned out if you hadn't limited yourself to their games? I never really think about that, no. I never really think about that, because I'm sure they would end up with a number of differences, but that honestly doesn't concern me, because I do like the challenge of only using video games for non-video game characters, so it's not really something that's crossed my mind at all. Question 34 by one Dylan the Mondo Yakuza. Out of every What If Blank was in Smash episode, which character do you think would fit the best in Smash? I think any of them can fit just fine, so long as they're properly programmed and balanced. Like, that's kind of just the short answer. Like, I make these movesets with the idea that they could work in Smash. So ideally, any of them should. I know people could disagree with me on some, or all of them. That's fine. But ideally, I think any of them could work, so long as they're properly programmed and balanced. Question 35, asked by Timberjack. Do you think your old movesets are as good as your new ones? Reasonably thinking, probably not, because I've learned a lot of things over the years about moveset conceptualizations, and I know a lot more now than I did when I first started. And if I made movesets for those older characters nowadays, they probably would have ended up very different. But again, don't take this as me wanting to change the old movesets anytime soon, since I would rather focus on making the movesets for new characters rather than changing old ones, but the answer is yes. Well, the answer is yes. No, the answer is no. Sorry. Wow. Okay. Question 36, asked by Shadowfang48. How do you deal with burnout, if you have any, when it comes to video making? By knowing when to take breaks. I try to give myself plenty of breathing room and breathing time. Like, if I ever find myself just getting exhausted, I will just stop. Because I know that if I try to force myself to keep working on something that I'm just not in the mindset to do, it'll end up coming out a worse product. And to me, that is unacceptable. So I take breaks when I feel like I need them, and then when I'm ready to work again, I'll get right back to work. It's mostly a matter of just knowing when to pace yourself, like knowing when to stop when you need to, but then knowing when to get back to work when you know you should. All right, question 37, asked by Matt MC123. How long does it take to edit a video? To actually edit a video, a few days on average. But what takes up most of the time, aside from actually building the movesets, usually does go into the artwork, the visual recording, scripting, audio recording. All of that builds up all of that builds up the work process, and it does vary from character to character. So it just varies. Question 38, asked by Usup Dog 1. Usup Dog 1? Again, apologies for butchering these usernames. I'm sorry. How do you decide what characters you will work on next? Is it random or is there a pattern? There really isn't a pattern. It really is just based on how many requests the characters have. Like, I always plan these characters ahead of time, and I usually do so in groups of 10. So then when the time comes to choose 10 more, I'll usually pick out a large of more than 10 characters with, generally the characters that all currently at that time have the highest request counts, with the larger numbered characters getting priority. But then, of course, there's the other factor of whether or not I can actually make the moveset for them on time. So usually I'll work on more than 10 characters, and if there's any characters that I can get done in time, they'll usually make it within the 10. Whereas if there's some that I'm struggling with or just need more time to research or just to work on in general, like I'm not happy with them yet, they'll get pushed back, and then I'll usually prioritize those characters in the next set of 10. Of course, there are exceptions, like whenever I make personal picks, or if there's a character that like a close friend like makes for a guest appearance, or like if there's a special occasion like for April Fools or for Halloween, things like that. But generally, it really is who has the highest amount of requests. Question 39, asked by Callum McConnell Hegland. What are the rules for non-video game originated characters getting movesets? So if a character comes from a series that did not originate from a video game, so I should specify that now actually. There's a difference between a character who, I guess an example like could be like Android 21 from Dragon Ball FighterZ. Yes, she originated from a video game, but her series that she comes from, Dragon Ball Z, did not. So that's kind of the difference there. But like, what they need is they need to have appeared in video games. Like, I'm not going to look at any non-video game originated character that has never been in a video game before. They have to have been in video games. And on top of that, their video game appearances need to have enough source to build most of the movesets. So like, even if they appear in video games but don't do a whole lot, like if I have to innovate for most of the moveset, I'm not going to bother. I will make some exceptions, like if the video games they appear in fill out most of it and then I just have to innovate for a couple of stuff, that's fine. I don't mind filling out the rest. But like, it does need, like, they need to be in video game, have appeared in video games and enough to fill out the moveset. Yeah, okay. Question 40 by Zachary Sieg. I want to know who does the drawings for all the innovated attacks. I do. I make all those myself. I make all of the art, and I try prioritizing using only assets that are either official or that I make or record myself. If I do use something that I didn't get myself, I will make sure to give credit to the person who did supply it or post it originally by putting their username on screen along with the asset in question. Question 41 by Pixelated Yoshi. It's been a while since you covered a fighter with... Oh, it's been a while since you covered a fighter with an Echo Fighter. Why is that? Simply because I really haven't covered any fighters as of late that I feel like could have appropriate Echo Fighters. Like, I know people might disagree in certain cases, but ever since I made the blue moveset and learned from viewers about the restrictions about what qualifies for as an Echo Fighter, I have been a lot more strict about it. And I guess, so generally, yeah, like, I'm not going to force a character to have an Echo Fighter if I don't feel it works. Like, they have to have, like, nearly the same proportions. Like, scaling is one. Like, I know some people argued about Amaterasu and Chibi-Terasu, like how that wouldn't work because Chibi-Terasu is smaller. A scaling thing I don't think is a big problem. It's when the model itself needs like additional limbs or limbs to actually be like repositioned, things like that. That shouldn't work as an Echo Fighter. But if it only needs to be scaled, then that's not a big deal. Also, I guess I should say while I'm at it, for those who haven't heard, since I have said this, I do no longer consider the moveset that I made for Blue as an Echo Fighter. He really does fit more into the role of semi-clone. So, question 42, asked by Sky Guy. Have you ever felt like you were forced to make a moveset for a character? No, not at all. Like, every character that I've made movesets for, like, I've had fun making the movesets. I've never once felt forced. Like, if there was ever a point where I felt forced to make a moveset, I just wouldn't do it. Simple as that. Question 43 from Jeremy Leyland. Are there any characters you wouldn't do that maybe... Are there any characters that you would do that maybe aren't getting the requests? I've done a few of those. I've done a few of those before. Quite a few, actually. Like ignoring the first batch of episodes, since those all were made before the requests started picking up. Like, it's happened. Slime literally had 0 requests. And then, yeah, like all my personal pick characters, so. Question 44 by Philip Napoli. Will you make videos for movesets on certain characters in honor of their return, like, for example, with the Animaniacs? No, I really don't like... I don't really like choosing characters based on things like that. I would much rather just stick to what's highly requested at the time. Question 45 from The Cake is a Lie. Are there any characters that you are unable to do? For example, not being able to make a certain character because you don't have the console to play his game. Not necessarily. Like, even if I can't play their game, I can always find footage online to watch Let's Play, and I can always find footage online or watch Let's Plays if need be. So, there really aren't any characters that I can't do, just those that I choose not to do. I guess though, with the one exception, yeah, the characters that showed up in the assist trophy, like, yeah, those are characters whose movesets, right now, I can't think of any good way to make them work, or to make them as good movesets, but as I said in the video, like, I'm not gonna stop trying with them. Like, I will eventually I will hopefully come up with something for them. Like, I'm not gonna stop, but right now, I just can't think of anything for them right now. Okay. Question 46, asked by Smiley Face Plasma. So I assume that's like a Japanese character, but sorry. What's the hardest part of making a moveset? Like, what specific moves or concepts or attacks? I'd say the hardest part is probably the actual research, like, as well as getting a grasp of the characters, because generally once that part is done, the rest kind of just falls into place for me. Question 47, asked by Sam Hine. How many videos are in production at a time? Quite a few. Like, I usually try to work in ways that allows me to get more done in the most productive ways possible, so I do a lot of multitasking. So, I'm generally working on multiple movesets at a time. Like, I'm playing multiple games at a time. Like, yeah, like, it's whatever feels most productive to me. Question 48, also asked by Sam Hine. If a character has less votes, but has been getting a lot recently, will they be taken first? Not necessarily. Like, I assume you're asking, like, if a character, just gets a bunch of votes out of nowhere. No. Like, they won't be done immediately. It was like what happened with Henry Stickmin, actually. Like, he had a huge influx of support out of nowhere, but I didn't do him immediately as soon as that influx started because I had other characters that I was working on and lined up. So it does take time to make all these movesets. So, like, but even then, like, Henry Stickmin was kind of a rare exception, because most of the time, when characters get, like, a huge influx of support, it's usually just because, like, a new game just came out that includes that character, or a famous YouTuber just played that game, and it's now it's in people's minds, so they start requesting them. But usually, those requests end up dying off, like, after about a week. So, it's not... Yeah, it's not... I want to only do characters that have a consistently high amount of requests, not those who only... that get a large amount in a certain time, but then just stop after a bit. Like, I want to do the ones that are staying consistent. Question 49 from Sonic Psycho. How many requests does a character have to have a moveset made? There's no set number. It really is just who has the highest amount. Question 50 from Wildfire. What software do you use for each of your videos? I use quite a bit, actually. I use Elgato Game Capture to record console games, and I use OBS or QuickTime Player to record games off my laptop. I use Clip Studio Paint for drawing, as well as Photoshop to edit art or to make the alternate colors and other graphics. I use Audacity to record audio. I use TextEdit to keep track of everything that I have to write down for all my notes, everything. And then finally, I use Adobe Premiere to build and edit the final video out of everything that I made and got from the other programs. Question 51, asked by Aiden White. Will you perhaps make a series that's about already playable characters in Smash, their movesets, and the history behind them? I personally have no interest in doing that myself, sorry. Question 52, asked by Kuninum88 Bebe, or Canonum88 Bebe. Would you ever do a moveset for an Echo Fighter? Will you make them completely unique if they ever got enough requests? I assume you're referring to characters like Daisy and Dark Stamets getting their own movesets? I wouldn't mind doing that, but I would need to see a huge demand for it first. Question 53, asked by Croissant. Would you be interested in doing another Red-like episode? Basically having the community collectively make a moveset and then you'd show it on your channel. I wouldn't mind it, but probably not for a very long time. I do prefer to make these movesets on my own. Red was an exception because at first I didn't think it could have a moveset, and I was happily proven wrong. So I consider that a learning experience for myself. Question 54 by Joseph Hernandez. Will you do Mii Costume Ideas? Honestly, I have no interest in doing that because I'd much rather just think of ideas that represent the character. I'd much rather just think of ideas that represent the character with movesets or assist trophies, because literally anything can be a Mii costume or a Mii costume hat, or yeah. Question 55 by Nugget King. Will you continue doing those Kirby Hat videos? Yes. Yes. I'm just messing around with you. You had no way that I was doing this, so. Anyway, question 56, from Questions with Marks. What's your opinion on the whole giving every character an Echo Fighter challenge, and will you ever do it? I personally do not care for the idea myself. I feel like a lot of the comparisons would end up needing to be forced, and I personally prefer just giving characters their own movesets anyway, so. Question 57 from Jeremy Leyland. When the Fighters Pass is done, and assuming that there is not a Season 3, will you move on to a different game, or will you be looking to the next Smash title? You say that assuming that I would stop making the Moveset series even after the DLC ends. Like, if anything, that'd give me all the more reason to continue making it. Like, that is to say, I wouldn't mind moving on to other kinds of projects, but I don't plan on stopping the Movesets, even if I do, anytime soon. So yeah. Question 58 by Creeper Guy 6977. Will you do a What If They Were a Spirit series? I wouldn't mind if it had enough demand, but I'm personally not that interested in doing so, if only because, like, literally any character can be a spirit. Like, so it would probably be less of what if they were a spirit and more so what would their spirit battle be like. Because that would make it a bit more interesting. Question 59 by Up Air. What do you actually think of Undertale? Is it something you love or something you do because of the popularity of the game? I love Undertale. I actually do love it. Like, I think it's a beautifully crafted game, and that it deserves every bit of popularity that it's gotten. I know that's probably a controversial opinion for some of you, maybe. I don't know why, but like, I played it about a month after it came out. So I wasn't really exposed to it thanks to its overwhelming popularity or the publicity. I experienced it firsthand and spoiler free. So I loved it for what it was. Like, I loved it, with no, like, outside influence. Like, that's just my opinion. I love Undertale. Question 60 by Gerald Brook 3. What is your honest opinion on the Smash Ultimate DLC overall? Do you dislike it, love it? Any particular members of both Fighters Pass that you weren't happy with? I like what we've gotten so far. Like, every character added has brought something new to the table in their own way, and I really haven't been disappointed at all. Like, no, I'm very happy with what we've gotten so far. Question 61. Which Smash Fighter do you hate the most? I'm sorry, this was asked by Roderick Goldberg. Yeah, which Smash Fighter do you hate the most? The reason doesn't matter. Don't like playing as them, don't like fighting as them, don't think they deserve to be in the game to begin with. All that matters is that you wish they were gone. I don't think that any character should be removed. I don't want any character to be removed. Like, that might be inevitable in the next up-and-coming Smash Brothers game, unfortunately, but I don't want any character to be removed. Like, I think every character has deserved their spot. Like, because every single character is someone's favorite character. But in terms of who I don't like playing against or as, Captain Falcon. Like, that character just gives me a hard time to, in general, to both play as and play against. Like, I like the character, but like, he's one that I don't like dealing with. Question 62 by Flare the Charizard. Would you be interested in more Mii Fighter types? Sure, if it gets enough demand. Question 63 by MattMC123. Did you ever expect to see characters you've done movesets for actually make it into Smash? So, like for Banjo and Steve. No, not really. I make these movesets with the presumed thought that none of these characters are going to get in. Like, does that mean that I think they'll never get in? Obviously not. But the fact is that they're currently not in. Like, the fact that they're currently not in makes me presume that they might not ever get in. Like, I don't like assuming that any character is getting in, because obviously there's so many characters. Like, I choose to remain on the side of, because the character's not in, there's a chance that they may not ever get in. And those are characters that I like to make movesets for. Especially since generally, if there's a character that I actually do think might get in, I'd rather not make a moveset for them. Like, I only want to make movesets for characters that I think are probably not going to get in. Yeah, so the series really is just for characters that currently aren't in or more than likely never will get in. Question 64. I have one big question. Oh, I'm sorry. Asked by Pinky. I have one big question I've been wondering for a while. Why did you stop doing Pokémon Trainers? I assume you're specifically asking about why I stopped making them a set of every. Why I stopped making them every 4 episodes. To be frank, there really was not enough. There wasn't enough demand for me to keep doing that. Like, people just weren't interested, and I, for the most part, base the subjects of my videos on popular vote. So, because of that, I decided to treat Pokemon Trainer like every other character. So, if you want to see movesets for them, they're gonna have to get enough requests first. Question 65, asked by Omasta5. Would you ever consider doing more of those old Super Smash Adventures videos? They never had a proper ending. I do want to. I really do. I want to get back to them. At the moment, though, I can't. The animation program, Adobe Flash, that I was using to make them, is unfortunately no longer compatible with my laptop. Like, I updated my laptop, and then suddenly Flash would just not open. If it did open, it would crash. So it just doesn't work anymore. So until I get a new program, or preferably a new program along with a new proper desktop with a strong program, I'm not able to work on it. But even then, and I'm sure this is probably going to hurt for some of you to hear, What If They Were in Smash has become so much more demanded of a series than Smash Adventures has ever was. So while I do want to go back to Smash Adventures, I do still want to prioritize What If They Were in Smash before it. Question 66, asked by RJ the Gamer. Have you ever seen any Undertale's AUs, and if so, which is your favorite? I haven't. I have no interest in looking at them. I don't really look at a whole lot of fanfiction works anymore. The only 2 fanfiction works that I still keep up with to this day are the Snafu comics, like the guys that make the Grim Tales or the Powerpuff Girls comics. And then there's a Mario comic writer that goes by Nintendraw. She makes a lot of really good stuff too. So those really are the only 2 proper fanfics that I read nowadays. Other than that, no. No. Question 67, asked by Matthew McCollum. If Sakurai said that assist trophies could be fighters, how would you feel? I'd be fine with it. Like, it's not really as big of a deal as people seem to make it, so it wouldn't really, I don't think it'd affect me that much. Question 68, asked by ZGamer2006. Is there any character you regret making a moveset for? Nope. I do not regret making a single moveset for a single character. There are, however, things that I've done in videos that I do regret doing. And it's not even so much like regret doing certain things in movesets. It's more so like things that I've done in the videos themselves. Like, I would say my biggest example, I brought this up at the beginning, was the stupid was-were grammar joke that I did for the title of What If Papyrus and Sans was in Smash, where it should say were. I know plenty of you have noticed this, but the title says What If Papyrus and Sans was in Smash, not were like it should grammatically be. I did that on purpose because, and as I put it, at the time I was feeling Sansy. And because like I wanted to see how many people would actually read, because when I did that, I also posted in the description that, you know, yes, I know it should say were, not was, but I purposely left it as was because I want to see how many people actually read the descriptions or pinned comments where I admit that I did it on purpose. So I was mostly just curious to see how many people actually read descriptions or not. But if I knew back then that Papyrus and Sans would end up becoming my most popular video, reaching over 1 million views, I never would have done that. So in the end, I ended up just playing myself. Question 69, asked by Pop Culture Corn. How much are you into non-video game characters in Smash Bros. If it were actually allowed? And do you think having only video game characters in Smash Bros. Is too limiting? I don't mind non-video game characters not being in Smash Bros. And no, I don't think having only video game characters is too limiting because there are so many video game characters. Like, even if you remove non-video game characters from the equation, there's still too many characters to choose from. So, not really, no. Question 70. Asked by, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, Gianluca Jello. Are characters that are from fan games but don't come from the original fan base allowed in the roster? No, they are not. I'm only making videos over characters from official sources. I have no interest in making movesets for fan characters or using fan-made stuff to build movesets. Like, I only want to use official games, and that's it. But then finally, our last question. Question 71, asked by Flaming Pancakes. Do you have anything to say to your fans who want to create content like yours? Have fun with it, but also prepare yourself to hear opinions that are different from your own. Like be ready to listen to criticism. Whether or not you choose to accept that criticism is up to you, but you have to take the steps that you feel are necessary to help improve your content. And this really doesn't only apply to making movesets, it applies to all kinds of content. Criticism really is a fickle thing. Like, it, you know, criticism is helpful no matter how you put it. Now, the underlining thing about criticism is that it's kind of up to you how you take it and how you respond to it. Like, obviously, you don't want to be sitting here rejecting all criticism, because obviously, no matter who you are, no matter who you say, what you make isn't going to be perfect. Like, my stuff is not perfect. No one's stuff is perfect. Not even the best YouTubers on the internet make perfect content. Like, they need to be willing to accept criticism. Now, there could be times where you could hear criticism that you disagree with, and that's fine. It's up to you whether or not you use it. I would generally say, like, if you hear, like, a lot of people saying the same thing, you definitely probably should, it probably is something you should consider. But even then, it's up to you. Like, if you feel that what you do or what you did is good enough and that you don't want to accept any criticism, or you don't think it needs anything, then that's fine. But also keep in mind that if you do that too much, or too often, I should say, don't expect people to respond well. Like, what's the best way to put this? Like, you're not gonna, like, gain any favors from the people that watch you if you're not willing to listen to them, I suppose. So that's probably the best way to put this. But that does it, though. So yeah, lots of questions. Again, I apologize to anyone whose questions I couldn't get to or didn't go over. But like I said at the beginning, this more than likely will not be the only time I do this. So when I do decide to do this again, I'll let you all know, and then you can re-ask your questions or ask new ones when that time comes. Aside from that, I hope you guys enjoyed all the Kirby. I love drawing the Kirby hats. They're so much fun. And with that said, I hope you all enjoyed. Please subscribe if you want to see more. Click the join button if you want to support the channel. And thank you all so much for watching. Take care.